The 2024 Summer Olympics will be held in Paris, with over 15 million people anticipated in just 2 weeks. With beach volleyball at the base of the Eiffel Tower and horseback riding in the gardens of Versailles, it might end up being the biggest event to ever take place in the nation. Let's examine Paris's ludicrous Olympic preparations, the difficulties it will encounter, and the significance of the occasion. This is Luxury Prima, Paris, the chosen one. Paris was in competition with Los Angeles, Hamburg, Budapest, and Rome in 2017 to host the Olympics in 2024. But after a public vote, Hamburg pulled out of the event, and Rome, which was having financial issues, followed suit shortly after. Budapest also withdrew, leaving only Paris and Los Angeles as contenders. This eventually led to an agreement that the 2024 Games would be held in Paris and the 2028 Games would be hosted in Los Angeles. Paris let women compete for the first time back in 1900, so this is not the first time they're hosting an Olympics. The Athletes' Village was initially presented precisely a century ago, and it has since grown to be a significant institution. They plan to accomplish numerous firsts once more this time around. These will be the first Games in history to have a breakdancing discipline, to be fully carbon neutral, and to have gender-neutral athlete selection. Furthermore, with the $9.5 billion budget, they aim to be among the most affordable of the century. This budget is supposedly still under control, even though it has already grown by more than $2 billion beyond the original projections. This is seen from a comparison with the last game, when the 2012 London Olympics had over 6,000 budget changes, pushing up the initial $3 billion cost to $11 billion. However, the present budget is far more stable, requiring only roughly 300 adjustments. Sites of the Olympics. The distinctive method Paris uses to choose event locations may be one factor contributing to this consistent expenditure. Nearly all of the athletic events will be held in either temporary arenas constructed in different places or existing arenas. This approach largely steers clear of pointless building projects, which is also in line with the goal of carbon neutrality. Simultaneously, it will enable the city to showcase its most stunning locations to the world. And because this is Paris, there are plenty of them. This will be most evident in the heart of Paris, where both iconic locations and well-known arenas will be utilized. On the one side, sports including football, boxing, and tennis will be held at the Stade Roland-Garros and the Parc des Princes Stadium. However, a number of makeshift arenas will be erected around the historic sites in the city's center. First, the Grand Palais, a 1900 historical landmark and museum complex, will host the fencing and taekwondo tournaments. Moving on to the Les Invalides complex, whose wide outdoor area will host the archery and athletics competitions. It is well known for both Napoleon Bonaparte's mausoleum and its military history museums. Close to the most recognizable landmark in Paris, the Eiffel Tower, a makeshift arena for beach volleyball, will be constructed at its base, and the opening ceremony will be held in the gardens of the Trocadero, which are only a short stroll away. Moreover, well-known squares like La Concorde will serve as open venues, and historical bridges will be a part of triathlon and cycling competitions. Many magnificent locations await us as we leave the city center and visit the surrounding Ile-de-France region. The rugby and athletics competitions, as well as the closing ceremony, will be held at the enormous Stade de France, one of the most well-known locations in all of France. The Palace of Versailles, or more precisely its well-known gardens, will serve as a makeshift arena for the modern pentathlon and equestrian events. There are even 2 brand new permanent venues located north of the city center. The first, which has been in the works since 2020, is the Porte de la Chapelle Arena. Although it was meant to host the basketball competition, badminton and gymnastics will take place inside its 8,000-person capacity. The other is the Paris Aquatic Center, where diving, water polo, and artistic swimming will be held. Construction on the facility facility started in 2017. Let's move on from Paris and have a quick look at the other locations across the nation. The football competitions will be held at the many French football capitals, including Lyon, Nice, and Marseille, as they have constructed sizable stadiums. For instance, the ultra-modern Lyon Stadium, as well as the Marseille Stadium with its magnificent roof, will be used. Speaking about Marseille, the marina, which is well known for holding events relating to boats, will host the sailing competitions. At last, there's one location that stands out from the others in every way. That's because Tahiti Island, where it is situated, is on the other side of the planet. It officially counts as French territory because it is part of French Polynesia. This implies that the surfing competition can be held on the fantastic local waves by the organizers. As you can see, most of the venues will be operational with only minor adjustments needed. However, Paris is currently doing some extremely large-scale renovations in order to prepare for the remaining Olympic venues. Big changes. The largest Olympic village is unquestionably the new one. When this tradition started in 1924, Paris only had a few makeshift wooden huts ready to shelter the athletes, since it was a workable option that also served to unite the athletes. Paris is approaching the situation far differently than it did the last time. Rather than construct a transitory community that would only be needed for the occasion, a significant urban development project has been started. The new village, which will be built on 70 soccer fields, primarily in Saint-Denis, just north of central Paris, will have enough space to house all 14,000 Olympic competitors, put them in close proximity to most of the event venues, around 30 minutes away, and offer them with all the amenities they need. But Saint-Denis was chosen as the place for a long time for a particular reason. This area of the city had a well-known reputation, mostly because of socio-economic problems and high crime rates. The village's long-term objective is to genuinely help the locals and change their circumstances. It will be transformed for residential use following the Olympics, providing accommodations for 6,000 people and improving the neighborhood. Although completion was supposed to occur in late 2023, there hasn't been any recent information in its state as of yet. The principal river in the city, the Seine, is currently the subject of another enormous project. Seine will undoubtedly play a significant part in the opening ceremony with a massive boat parade and spectators from both banks. It is also anticipated to hold a segment of the triathlon competition, as well as the swimming marathon, precisely like it did during the Olympics in 1900. However, swimming in the river has really been prohibited since 1923 due to rising pollution levels. So how in the world are the organizers going to resolve this problem to allow people to swim in the river? The massive subterranean rainwater tank next to the Austerlitz train station holds the key to the solution. Its responsibility will be to gather contaminated rainfall from the streets and move it to a treatment facility downstream. However, there is no assurance that the initiative would be successful despite its $1.5 billion price tag. It should be adequate in normal circumstances, but it might not be if the city gets an unusually high amount of rain during the event. Despite all of these difficulties, returning the Olympics to Paris will have a largely favorable long-term impact. Although the Olympics are a one-time event, the impact will linger for a long time because this year's projects have a future-focused perspective. On the $9.5 billion budget, the public contributes about $2.6 billion, while nearly $11.7 billion is predicted to be earned in revenue. Of course, sharing the city's rich cultural heritage with the global community has also cultural benefits, while uniting a great number of people to watch the Olympics as a shared event. What do you think of Paris's incredible preparations then? Tell us in the comments section below. We appreciate your time and we'll see you in the next video.